Hello, Section staff. This is Dustin Brown, and I wanted to take a moment to walk you through how to piece together your professional development plan as a part of the Network for Educator Effectiveness. So most likely, you should remember how to get into the NE Online Manager. If you notice the location in the URL address bar, it's ne-onlinemanager.missouri.edu. And you'll simply log in with your email address and your chosen password. Now off the left hand side you'll notice the home button, my organizers tab, my reports, teacher surveys, and all of that. Where your professional development plan is located is under the My Organizers tab, and you'll notice these are the two that you will utilize during the school year. The Unit of Instruction tab should be relatively familiar for you, as you completed this last year. But for our task, we're going to look at the professional development plan in a moment. Now, the professional development plan is a very useful tool, and if nothing else, you should use it in a way that will help you to improve your instructional practices. As a component of the PDP, it really requires you to look at data to help drive your improvement as an individual. And I know it's one of those things that it's pretty uncomfortable when you look at your observations and you see that you've scored low on something. And I have, no problem sharing some of that information with you because I think I'm a pretty decent teacher, but there are of course always areas in which we can improve. And so if you notice under my reports it says classroom observation, PDP, all that stuff, and summative. If you click under your summative observation, it will give you, and you'll notice that what it's trying to do is pull up this year. So under summative, I actually have to go back and view another report, and I want to go to the cycle that ended in May of 2016 for the last school year. And so what that will do is it will allow me to pull up the data that I'm looking for in terms of improving my instruction. So you notice there's indicator 1.2. I think I scored pretty decently on that one. Again, that's cognitively engaging students. Indicator 3.1, which are following curriculum standards, I'm good on that. Indicator 4.1, problem solving and critical thinking, I scored well on that. 5.2, managing of time, space, transitions, and activities, I scored well on that. 7.2, assessment data to improve learning, and then 7.4, this is the one that I actually chose. Now, again, I've only had 2 observations last year, and I happened to score the lowest on monitoring the effectiveness of instruction on the whole class and individual learning. Now, I've always known that this is an area that I really need improvement on. Formative assessments is just something that I was never very good at. And so this was a no-brainer for me to choose indicator 7.4 for my professional development plan. So I have 7.4 as the chosen indicator for improvement. So I'm going to go ahead and go to My Organizers. And again, you were given this template that you can write all of this information down. Originally, we were told that you could fill it out on paper and then just upload the document into the NE organizer, and that would be sufficient. But for some reason, the NE, there was a worker that works for NE that decided to delete the button for whatever reason. So as of right now, we're going to have to manually enter all this information in. So you go to the professional development plan, and there's really only a handful of boxes that you are going to have to fill in. You might actually have to update some of this information. For example, my professional status showed as I was probationary, which obviously, having worked here for 10 years, I'm not a probationary teacher. This information with reviews and the end-of-year review date, you and your supervising principal will set those dates. For our intents and purposes, we simply want to have this professional development plan finished by September 15th, the initial plan finished by September 15th. So when you scroll down, you don't have to fill this information in. You don't have to fill in the district goal or the building goal. You actually start with indicators to be addressed. So I've already filled this information in. It's going to look very similar to the box above it when the information is not filled in. simply copy and paste the indicator that you want to choose into the box, again in the indicator to be addressed box. And once I've done that, I simply click save, and now at that point I'm good to go on that particular box. So you're choosing your indicator. Again, you do that based off of the data, and here's where you tell the data, or excuse me, this is where you tell how much you want to improve it by. And this is a SMART goal. So again, specific, measurable, attainable, you know the acronym. Improve my score on indicator 7.4 by 2 points by utilizing formative assessment practices to improve individual feedback and instructional interventions. So I scored a 3.0 last year. I want to get it to a 5.0 by the end of this school year. This is my SMART goal. Now, how did I determine that this was the goal I chose? I've already been through this with you. So that's this box. I chose indicator 7.4 because it was the indicator in which I scored the lowest on during my 2 observations last school year. I scored a 3.0 on this indicator. This is an area in which I know I need to improve. So even without the observations, this was probably the area that I would have chosen. It's just the area that I know is an area of opportunity for growth. This is where it requires a little bit of thinking on your part. The sequence of PD activities. So you've got your plan in place. You've got the data as to why you've chosen it. Now, how are you going to go about accomplishing this plan? And that's where the PD activities will come in. Now, you're supposed to have at least 3 PD activities that will align with your goal. Guys, there's no way we could afford to send everyone to workshops outside of the district for 3 activities. But there are simple things that will count as meeting these activities. Simply having a book study, collaboration with your professional learning committee, with your collaborative team, that counts as a PD activity as long as it's focused on the indicator that you're talking about. Reading scholarly articles, going to a workshop, let's say we have workshops on our professional development days that focus on formative assessments. Well, if I was to go to that, then of course that could be a goal of mine that I can include in this. So I happen to be going to the Formative Assessment Academy that's hosted by Ed Plus. Notice how I wrote this goal out. So I have to include a time frame as well. I will attend the Formative Assessment Academy hosted by Ed Plus. I will bring back information that will help me to improve my assessment strategies. I am already registered for the Academy, and it will begin in November 2016 and will conclude by March of 2017. So I have my strategy, I have my time frame. Lesser expensive activity that I'm going to do, I will read the Formative Assessment Action Plan, Practical Steps to More Successful Teaching and Learning by Nancy Fry and Douglas Fisher. I will complete this activity by the start of the second semester of the 2016-17 school year. And then the free version of PD activities that I can do, I will collaborate with my American History collaborative team with the purpose of designing and implementing formative assessment strategies for implementation. I will complete this throughout the 2016-17 school year. And so realistically, if you notice, that's all you have to have. That's all the PDP plan is that's due by September 15th. So I don't want to take up any more of your time. This video has already gone on for 9 minutes. Just make sure that you save all of these indicators and all of these boxes that you need. And once you are complete with that, you should be good to go unless you hear other information from your principal. Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully this helped out. And if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to contact me, Dustin Brown, at browndu@foxc6.org. You can also contact Tanya Thompson, our other professional development rep, Thompson T at foxc6.org. Thanks again for your time, and hopefully this helps you out.